Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Network 27. I'm Alderman Walter Burnett, Alderman of the 27th Ward. As you know, Network 27 was put together to share opportunities and resources to folks in our ward and throughout the city about things that's going on. I'd like to, first of all, thank God for the opportunity to be here. I'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for viewing. I'd like to thank everyone who helped me to put this show together. I'm very blessed to have some good people. We've been doing this for over 25 years, so we are so blessed to be able to continue to do it, although we did take a hiatus during the COVID period. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you all know that I'm a strong advocate for affordable housing. We blessed to have been the initiators of the ARO, Affordable Housing Requirement Ordinance, several years ago. And it has enhanced since then. It started at 10, now it's up to 20. You know, quite as it's kept, we've been doing it before we even had an ARO ordinance because we like to keep a balance in our ward. We're blessed to have a diverse ward. And so we have a unique area in our ward and a unique situation with market rate housing and affordable housing in our ward. And I have some guests here today to talk about those things and talk about some great opportunities for people in the community to plant their stake in the ground and own a part of the American dream at an affordable cost here in the city of Chicago and on the west side. So I'm gonna start out by introducing my guests, and then we're gonna roll right into what this is all about. So why don't you introduce yourself, young lady? You got on your Halloween orange, shining up the place. Tell us who you are.
Yes, thank you so much for having us, Alderman Burnett. My name is Annette Shelton. I'm with Coldwell Banker, the listing broker for Harrison Row.
Fantastic. And you, sir?
I'm Michael Drew, principal at Structured Development. We are the developers behind Harrison Row, along with our joint venture partners, Faines Development. We have been active in the east part of the ward, and we're happy to be investing in this location here in the west part of the ward.
Great. Yes, sir.
And I am Kevin Brinson, managing partner of Faines Development LLC, and it's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to give out this input and be a part of something amazing in the community.
Fantastic. So Mike, you know, so tell us who Mike Drew is and structured development, how long you all been around. What do you really do, you know, structured development?
Well, thanks, Walter. Structured Development has been in business since 2000. Before that, I was a general contractor, and we formed a development company and did development full-time, primarily concentrated in the Clybourne corridor. We've done the new city development, Blackhawk, British School, and we're currently working on a development called the Big Deal, which is located at Kingsbury and Blackhawk. And as such, that was in an area that was permitted to be residential after the industrial corridor modernization corridor plan passed, and it actually predated the ARO requirements. And as I've always credited you with, Alderman, you were ahead of the formal ordinance in that you required 20% affordable before it was even an ordinance. So as part of that at Big Deal, we were required to produce 20% affordable units for of the total count that we were producing in that development. As you've always maintained, you told me that the west side of your ward is as important as the east side, but you recognized early on that the opportunity to leverage the investment in that area, whether it was the Clybourne corridor or now Fulton Market, you were able to leverage that and suggest the investment that we're doing here. This investment, Harrison Row, is 40 homes, total investment of over $15 million on a site that was vacant for nearly 50 years, a former factory site.
So we started out together with the New City project over on Clybourne and Halsted,
That's right.
right? And you know, funny thing is, when you started with that deal, it was no ARO ordinances in place. We had a gentleman's deal on 10% CHA and 10% affordable.
We did.
You built a residential building, but you wanted to build the affordable next to it as part of that development.
Yes.
And you ended up doing it, which we're probably going to break ground on that development.
Not break ground, cut
Cut the ribbon on that development. Pretty soon? I think in
I think
December.
it's scheduled for the 30th, end of the month.
30th of November. So
Might
this
be
show may
November, yeah.
show after that date.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a fantastic thing. You know, you had a black contractor there with Cornelius Griggs,
We did.
who actually is a contractor who grew up in Cabrini Green, so he's able to build over in the neighborhood he grew up in and had a lot of people to work with him. So then you moved from the New City project and you moved over to the Kingsbury project, which is the Big Deal project. After a while, everybody may not know that that's called a Halsted Triangle. And in the Halsted Triangle, it was predominantly industrial. We tried to use it as a buffer to not encroach upon the industrial stuff because
Goose Island,
Goose Island, right? So the city decided to ease that up and allow for residential to be on that side of the river, right? And then you came with at first you had a proposal for a commercial development with a lot of stores and a whole bunch of things. And then after we changed the proposal, you came with another proposal. Then you came with a hotel, right? Then you came back and you say, okay, I think I want to do residential. And I'm like, all right, man, you can do residential. You're gonna have to do 10% CHA, 10% affordable, or 10% affordable, 20% affordable.
20% affordable, right?
So you said on that side of Halsted I don't do CHA. You said, well, can I build off-site? And really, it was challenging because the Department of Housing was very unique for them to allow for folks to build off-site. So you had this land over here that you had purchased, and from what I understand, you was talking to other developers too, to see if they wanted to do some of their ARO off-site over in this development, right?
Yeah, we identified a program that is managed by a delegate agency, Chicago Housing Trust, and that's to foster and encourage the home ownership, affordable home ownership. So we looked at it and said, all right, if we can provide the units on site at the condominium building, we can provide 34 of them on site, and we can provide 36, ultimately 40 off site, but within the 27th ward, which was consistent with, and I'm proud of. It's been consistent with your approach, which is kind of along the lines of Invest Southwest, where a part of the ward that was disinvested or had been underinvested is now going to be a community of home ownership ultimately when Annette markets these and we sell them.
So you came to me and you bought this property and you came up with that idea to see if you can build off-site on this property. And we both went to the Department of Housing and lobbied them to allow for that to happen. The commissioner went along with it. So we have a piece of land over on Francisco and Harrison that, as you said, been vacant for over 50 years. Really, it's been vacant since the fires when Dr. King passed away. And you know, quiet as it's kept, a lot of the vacant land here on the west side has been vacant since the King days, since King passed away, which is Yeah, which is the 60s, which, folks was fighting because they, were upset about it, but they don't know they made our community suffer for a long time. So now I would say we're coming out of the ashes, right? Because things are starting to happen. So you came over here, you had this idea, you started looking at the property and doing some things, and then the brothers pushed up on me, man, in the neighborhood. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So the brothers pushed up on me and they like, hey man, we got a development company and we want to build on the land in our community. And he said, what this guy doing building on the land in our community? And I'm like, look, man, that's his own private property, right? This is not public property. This is his own private thing. I know you all feel like this is y'all land because y'all in the neighborhood, but people buy land and they own their own property and they do certain things. I said, I tell you what, let me put you all together. So I called Mike up. I say, look, Mike, I have some brothers, they have a development company. Maybe you can talk to them, maybe you can mentor them, maybe y'all can work together. And then that's when you all got together. First y'all had did y'all have a development company or just a contracting company?
We had a development company and we came to the table and, two of my other partners were busy. They got their say and they was talking about contracts and, I spoke last and I said, no, not no contracts. We want a mentor-protege scenario. And after mulling it over, they came back and was like, okay, we want to do the mentor-protege model with y'all. And they started basically showing us everything from the beginning all the way to the end, and even allowed us to be at the table and even offer suggestions on what would work and what wouldn't work, and that's where we all put our heads together and came up with, we talked a little bit about modular, and because it was something that was new, everybody's very hesitant at first, but after, I think that y'all went to the Builders Conference, right? And then that's where we met up with Connects, and then we went and toured the facility, and we like, okay, we think this can work.
So let's back up a little bit. So let's tell people who you are. Tell people the community you all consider to be y'all neighborhood, right? What y'all, what you all trying to protect or enhance or whatever the case may be, and then your partners.
Okay, I'm Kevin Brinson, like I said, managing partner of Fanes Development LLC. Born and raised in this community since 1968.
So in what community?
In the North Lawndale, and I think it's quote unquote East Garfield Park also. And just been here for over 50 some years. And we've always strived to want to be developers. We didn't want to just be somebody just grabbing homes and fixing and flipping homes. We wanted to do something that was different and thinking outside of the box. So what could be better for us than doing new construction?
So tell us also, what's your you got into this construction, but you've been doing business for a long time. You had owned your own business, am I correct?
Yes, I own several businesses. I actually own my own record label also, in which we have a joint venture with Atlantic Records, and had that for over 25 years. I'm also an IT professional. My other partner, Quentin Addison, he was doing a lot of construction work. We had other business partners with us along the way that also that had experience in dealing with big development projects also over in the Henry Horner area and everything. So there was a lot of discussions that went back and forth before we came all to the table and was saying, okay, this is what we want to do. We had this vision. Let's see what we can do to make it come to fruition.
So you all brothers from the hood?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and so y'all put Fane Development together, and then we connected you with Mike. And how did that conversation go?
Well, at first it was a little bit of reluctance because you gotta be honest with yourself when you don't have a huge track record everybody's like, well, what can we really bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? But when we present this mentor protege scenario, it just changed the whole scope of everything, and that's what made everything start falling into place. And it allowed us, we felt like a stakeholder now. When you become a stakeholder, it's like, this is your baby, this is your pet project now. You know, so it changed the scope of everything, and it allowed us the opportunity to even have some say so in bringing in different contractors and everything in order to do the finishing and everything on this project. Everything was new for us with modular, so we all were experiencing this together. So we were doing everything, going to tour the facility on multiple occasions, going over the plans and stuff, going over the performers and everything. So these are things that, as a neophyte in this type of industry, if you don't know those things, you're not finna do any development in the city at all.
Without a doubt. And then, you know, what I always say, you know, everybody always look at everything from the outside looking in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? So it's easy to say, you know, I want to develop, I want to do this, I want to do that, but then you'll understand all of the, you know, all of the things that's involved as far as how much it's going to cost, the sacrifices, the time period of waiting, being able to get, approved for loans, and you know, you have money up front. Sometimes you got to pay people before you can make any money back. Absolutely. You know, material prices go up. You all went through a whole, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, this is probably the best time to be mentored in development.
I don't know if it's the best time, but it could certainly be one of the most trying times. So.
But you can learn so much, right? That can position you when things get better. It's so much easier, right? Because you've learned so much. So tell me, Mike, how did and one thing I want to say thank you to you. You know, so I called you, and I always call folks and I ask them, can they connect with the community, work with the community? I generally ask developers to make sure that they have minority contractors on their construction. And, you know, so I didn't know how that conversation was going to go, right? They came to me, and I was like, you know, that's his property. We can talk about some other property, but I'm gonna have him sit down and talk with y'all. Maybe y'all can, you know, get some contracts or something, right? But you turned it into this deal. So tell us, how did that go?
And I have to thank you as well, because as I said, you've always been consistent. You've always been very clear on what you wanted, and part of it was not only investment in the ward, but not come in and invest without involving the community. So I've always listened when you made requests, you made introductions, and done our best to accommodate. So I really didn't have any resistance to the idea of engaging the community, but I didn't really know how. And you introduced us to Quentin and Kevin, and so what I said was, yeah, I can hire somebody that works for a couple months till the project's on, and then they're done and it's over. Or I can teach you guys the development business, the good and the bad. I made them a full partner in the structure that we're sitting on in the development, and they will share in the profits, and it won't be a loss, fortunately. But they saw all the challenges. They've seen the good and the bad that comes with development. A lot of people think, you know, you just you roll out of bed and you make developers make all this. It doesn't happen that way. And we've been on this now for
3 years now.
Well, almost 3 years.
3 years.
To get approvals, to get the homes built, to now we're in the selling phase, and Annette is a local realtor from the community. She's doing a great job. And the joint venture, I said, I don't know a better way than to make you a partner and share everything that comes through the development. You know, the saying, you can teach, give a man a fish or teach him how to fish. And our attempt at the goal of the joint venture is that Quentin and Kevin can use what they learn on this. We've introduced them to a lender We've shown them the pro forma. They're engaged in the first unit that was sold was the Faines unit, and hopefully the next unit will be under contract in the near future. But there's nothing that I could do to better advance their knowledge of development. And if they choose to develop going forward, and maybe we'll do other ventures going forward, but we've shown them what it's about. So
it's probably different being on the other side, dealing with contractors and dealing with timelines and costs and all of those things. I know like a lot of people always in the neighborhood just want to work, whether they know how to work or not, right?
Most definitely.
And that's that has to, when you're on the side of paying people and getting your business done, that's a whole different scenario.
It is. You have to micromanage, You have to become your own project manager and everything, One of the good things is that by us having different skill sets and everything, it allowed us to know certain things that was going on. So we would catch things before they got out of control, bring everybody up to speed, be totally transparent, be able to nip a lot of things in the bud, and it made the transition a little bit more smoother. And believe it or not, just from what you did for us, other aldermen are now trying to copy exactly what you did and bring us to the table to start developing in other areas of the city now. So you jump-started a revolution in development where a lot of people can come participatory in that process.
And Walter, I have to say that it's been a great partnership with Faines. They have brought real value to the venture. They have provided a continuity and connection to the community that we didn't have, and that's been a real, genuine benefit. We've much of the finishes within here are done by a local contractor, Milton Riley.
And Melvin grew up in the neighborhood.
He
He got his own contract. He got his own contractor.
Builders 14 construction.
I believe that you guys have just purchased or opened an office on California.
We did. Yeah.
So it's exactly what I believe you had set a goal on and the implementation. So a thank you to you for.
Well, I appreciate you, but I also appreciate them. I mean, it takes a lot to come to the table. Nobody gets something for nothing. You got to put money up. You got to risk things. You got to put the time in. You got to be professional. You got to learn that you have to have relationships with all types of people, right? From the banks to the contractors to everyone. So I mean, it's a big step for them to be able to cross over into that lane, right? Instead of just doing rehabs. I think it's great. And then you have this young lady over here who's trying to sell these properties, and so this is how everything came together, right? So let's talk about the development, because we're going to be showing some scenes of different parts of the development. Tell us where it is and what all what you started on. I know you built something at first, then you're building something now, and you're almost done with this, and you're building something else. Tell us about it, and tell us about the land.
So, as I said, the driving engine, if you will, is a development called Big Deal. That's in the Clybourne corridor. And this particular piece is the off-site compliance of the Arrow. It's 40 units. The first phase on Congress was 7 townhomes. Those are all sold and occupied. We're building another 5 on Francisco, and we have 28 units along Harrison, located at Harrison and Francisco, just a half a block west of California. Annette, do you want to describe what the
Absolutely.
components are?
Absolutely. I think the townhomes are pretty phenomenal. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths with garage parking. You have green space yards as well. there are really high-end finishes in these affordable units, and we have one already sold and occupied, several other applicants, and we're looking to sell these out very, very soon.
So what are the price points on the units?
Thanks for asking about that. They're listed at $245,000.
$245,000
$245,000
for a house.
Yes, in the city of Chicago, right? Fair market value, I would say, would be about $350,000.
$350,000.
So yeah, so
people
you're
save $100 grand.
You're walking into these properties with equity in a market where you're buying at the top of the market, and where can you do that? So,
And I think it's important to note that they're done in partnership with Chicago Housing Trust, which is the delegate agency for the Department of Housing that manages and keeps these homes affordable in perpetuity. So you're able to get a brand new construction, excuse me, safe, secure home for well below what a market rate home would cost you. We are also offering incentives, recognizing that mortgage rates have moved dramatically in the last few months, and we still believe very important to get people into these homes. So we're offering upfront credits towards closing costs and mortgage rate buy downs.
And you know, the unique thing about these homes, I look at the homes driving down the street next to it. Even though these homes are going for $245,000, they appraised for $300,000 or something. Mm-hmm. It has that positive effect on the homes next door to it. So now when they can go and get their property value go up and their equity go up in their property. And most likely it gives them the opportunity to borrow money, fix their property up, or sell it, or whatever the case may be. And now, I mean, just this development being here, we got another large vacant lot to the east of here. Now the owner of that property is going to build something there. He sees the rooftops coming, right? So now he's going to build a little store, gas station, all that stuff to capitalize on all of the new people coming to the area and bringing the amenities and the amenities to the community. So without rooftops, nothing happens.
That's exactly right, Walter. And what you're talking about is very similar to the goals of the Mayor's Invest Southwest, which is to invest in neighborhoods that have been overlooked or disinvested for a very long time. And to do that, you need to invest in the community and create something like Harrison Row, which will bring 40 families, and those 40 families will demand and support improvements to commercial amenities that might be lacking. And it's just a normal process of community investment, and it takes time, but if you're invested and you're a homeowner, you're invested in your community, and that's a real positive thing.
So what I say, I always say that, the secret to the success of my ward is that I prime communities with affordable housing, right? Areas like this, if you don't make anything happen in these areas, nothing will happen, right? Because people don't see the profit margin or whatever the case may be to invest. But once you put something affordable here, then it makes everybody else get confidence, right? And it attracts other things. And quiet as it's kept, that's what happened on the near west side. Quiet as it's kept, that's what happened on the near north side, over the Cabrini Green area. Before all of that nice stuff came, it was the replacement houses for CHA that started building up. And even though those houses were low income or affordable, they still had a market. When banks looked at it, when other investors who own property look at it, it changed the whole landscape. So sometimes you need to have government and affordability involved in order to prime a community that normally would not get development. And now the challenge with this is now you have to worry about now everybody's property value is going up. Okay, these are appraised for $345,000, Other folks' houses start going for 400. Next thing you know, $500,000. Next thing you know, 700,000. You know, it has an effect. It has an effect on the whole community. So the only way that we can balance this out, if we get some affordable stuff in here, but at the same time, we're not hating on the other property values going up, because we need a mixture, right? Because when businesses want to move to a community, they say, okay, how many rooftops do you have? What's the demographics? How much money do everybody make? So everybody can't be low income, right? Or you're not gonna get a good business, right? Some folks have to have some money. So when you mix it up, I always say we feed off of each other. Everybody feed off of each other. And when you mix it up and you get the density and the population, then you get the businesses. Then when you get the businesses, you get the jobs. And it just all keeps flowing.
And it lifts the tax base, and the tax base is what provides the services to all citizens. It's you figured it out 3 decades ago, and it works. If development is viewed as a positive engine with controls such as 40 homes that will stay affordable in perpetuity through the CHT program, that is a way to get investment in the community and lift all ships.
That's right. So this is exciting. So tell me, so in this house, okay, we're sitting in this beautiful kitchen. We're in one of the buildings right now. So it's a beautiful kitchen. And I see, like, you know, stoves and countertops and dishwashers and refrigerators. Tell us about the house.
So I just want to dismay the myth of affordable housing. A lot of times people think that because it's affordable, it's not going to be quality. Well, you're, like you said, you're sitting in a kitchen with stainless steel appliances, with dishwashers, garbage disposals. I mean, some brand new constructions don't even put in garbage disposal. All electric, efficient, energy efficient homes. We have plank flooring, you know, in the floors, carpeting in the bedrooms, spacious bedrooms. When we go up, we'll see that you can put a king size bed in those bedrooms. So you're not gonna get small bedrooms. Like a lot of times when I sold through the program, they did not give you this kind of quality on affordable housing. Thanks to Mike Drew and Faines, they wanted to make sure that buyers, just because it's affordable, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be smaller or something that you don't wanna live in. I would live in these homes, I'm sorry, these are amazing. And I'm really grateful to Structure Development that they've given me an opportunity to help give back to this community and bring in affordable home buyers, because a lot of buyers have been totally priced out of the market to find, and then you get brand new construction that's really the cherry on top of everything.
Walter, we also looked at what was missing in the market, and what was missing was the access to family-sized units. As the ARO required percentage of the units being built, the market was delivering primarily studios and one-bedrooms because of the high cost of construction, the land, and they could get higher rents for that. What was left out then was any accessible or attainable housing for families. So while this is affordable by definition housing, one has to understand that affordable housing covers a wide range. It covers all of the low end of 30% AMI, which typically is assisted through other subsidies like Schiller Place, to the market rate, which is not affordable, that families can't access, they get priced out of. So what these are actually are what's referred to as the missing middle. This is workforce housing. If you have a job, whether you live in the medical district or you commute out and you have a family, these are extremely affordable and good family units.
So you also have washer and dryers?
Yes, full-size washer and dryers. And you don't have to come downstairs. They're on the second level where the bedrooms are.
And how many bedrooms?
3 full-size bedrooms.
And what's the square footage?
Yeah, the square footage is almost 1,500 square feet.
1,500, because the average house is about 1,200 square feet, right?
Correct.
So that's pretty big. Yeah, so 1,500 square feet. So you have a backyard?
You actually have yard space. These are duplex.
So they connected to another building.
Yes, only one other unit. And as you can see, we're looking out the windows. You have natural lighting coming in. Most townhomes, you're going to have someone directly on the side of you where you cannot see in those past those party walls. So you only have one other person that you have to share that with, and you share the garage as well.
So they have a garage.
Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Secured garage right off the alley, and I think it's important to note part of what drove the design was recognizing that when you have a townhome association, you have homeowners dues, HOA dues, which are typically $350 and up. These do not have homeowner association because you own fee simple your unit. So that's significant, $350 a month avoided cost.
Fantastic. So you have a living room, a dining room.
Living room, dining room, kitchen. So this would be the dining room, kitchen, and I have to say it's really spacious where you can have additional seating, little office space if you have children, or just seating area. You could put a TV. It could be a family room and kitchen area together. And then you still have the living room. And you still have 3 nice-sized bedrooms.
Three
with
bedrooms.
Spacious closets. And they even put organizers in them, and I love that. And here you have a pantry and a large storage unit. So plenty of storage space here.
How many bathrooms?
1.5. So you're gonna, on the main level, you have a half bath. So your guests don't have to go upstairs in your personal space. And then there's 1 full bath with double Corian sinks. So you can share that with your husband, and you don't have to wait with 1 sink. So it is a double vanity up there.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So that's fantastic for $245,000. That's a good deal.
You can't beat it.
Yeah. So this is great. So I know we're B-rolling and we're showing different things. So it's a small little front yard. It's not that big, but there's a front yard, right? And so you have some green space, and folks can still do whatever they want to do with that. If they want to plant flowers or do whatever they want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much. How the backyards are set up is kind of family friendly, so to speak, right? There's not fences in the backyards that are up. It's just everybody can walk.
Yeah, that's correct. It's
Or the kids can play. So I know when I came to one of the ribbon cuttings, the kids were just playing. They was playing football, right? Right, on the different lots of the houses, right? Which is so neighbors, kids can have their own little play area that they can just entertain each other.
We saw that while townhomes generally have their a fenced area and small places, it's difficult to get a healthy backyard, and the space within that we have here is just that. It's a great space. It's a great open space, and it's conducive to a wonderful living experience.
So I know this is not the end. I think this is the beginning. I know that your son, Mike, he's really into the affordability.
He is, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you raised him well. I don't know, he take more after you or after his mom.
His mother, for sure. His mother, absolutely. And she says hello, by the way.
Tell us hi. So he's the softer side of the business, right? And so I know that you all are looking at thinking about doing other things, huh?
We are always looking at other things. We're currently in the middle of delivering Big Deal, and to your point, that's been about 7 years to get to where we're at on that project. So the myth that unfortunately or fortunately I exposed Fanes to is that it doesn't happen overnight.
That's right.
You just gotta keep dealing with it. You gotta go around every obstacle that pops up in your way to reach success. But again, they have been great partners. You've been a great official influence on my career and my involvement, and your consistency is I've always admired.
Well, I appreciate that. So the unique thing about this property, though, is that it's right next to the expressway.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
You can just get right on and right off.
Yes.
10 minutes from downtown.
10 minutes from downtown, you know, not too far from Garfield Park Conservatory, you know, I mean, close to the medical district, close to UIC, you
The
know.
Harrison bus line.
Right.
Harrison bus line
Right,
right
right.
here.
Blue
I mean,
line.
you can take the Harrison bus right to the medical district, you know, I mean, which is a couple of blocks away. So it's like, and quiet as it's kept, they say the medical district is one of the largest employers in the state. Right, there's a lot of people working there. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those folks come over here and try to buy. You know, and how many have you sold so far?
We have sold a total of 8 out of the 40. We're just completing. The east side of the development will be done by early next year, January, February. So we will have 28 available units. And it's, you know, it's a real community, secured, safe community. We're very proud of it.
Fantastic. And so far you getting it's not just African Americans moving over here. You're getting a diverse group of people moving in the neighborhood.
That's one of the things that I think validates the program. We've got, I think, 3 of the 4 buyers on Congress are Asian American, 2 Hispanics, and 3 blacks and 1 Caucasian.
That's how it's supposed to be.
It is supposed to
Exactly.
be.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
Yes, very diverse.
Yeah, great melting pot, and it's getting better. You know, funny thing is, and I got to talk to you, Mike. I just had a young lady who used to live on my block, who a Caucasian young lady came to me and was like, "They're affordable. I like this ARO stuff, but it's not affordable enough." She was like, the 60% she couldn't afford. She was $3,000 over the 60%, so she couldn't get an affordable unit.
Yeah.
You know, and
She's right in the middle.
right in the middle.
And where does she go? She can't compete on the market.
That's right. And so she you know, she makes about almost 50 grand, 40, 50 grand a year, and she wanted to stay in the neighborhood, right? In these emerging neighborhoods. She wanted to stay in these neighborhoods, but they can't afford it because everything is getting so expensive.
Right.
And you know, and people, when they, and this is the crazy thing, when people think about affordable housing, they think about all low income African American people like it's gonna be the projects, right?
Right.
And what I have found, most of the people, one of the first affordable housing buildings that I encouraged was on Fulton and Halsted. And one day that building came to me. They had sold the units. I did it with Thrush years ago. The building came to me and it was against the building that was going to be across the street, right? They didn't want to block their view and all that stuff. So it was it was a white lady, a white guy, a Latino lady, and an African American guy. And they was fussing about the building. I said, that's the first affordable building I had built in the ward years ago when Thrush was around, which is not even in business anymore. And they was like, we affordable building. And the white lady had red hair, looked very elegant, looked like a movie star, right? And you know, you had the young white guy looked like he was in school, right? And Latino sister, you know, she was actually lobbies in Springfield, and the brother was a computer guy. And the white lady and the white guy say, "Yeah, I got one of those affordable units." and the black guy, the Hispanic lady say, "You got an affordable unit?" I was like, you all are my poster child.
That's it.
Y'all,
That's
you all are
exactly
my poster people for, that is not just for,
Yeah.
because the white kid was in school. Right? The white lady was a single white woman. And you know, the challenge is for women, they do not get paid as much as men. Right?
Yes.
And if they have a kid by themselves, they need the affordability.
That's exactly
so it's
right.
not just for, you know, minorities, it's for everybody.
It is. And it's important to understand that example of that woman that is gainfully employed, works hard, she doesn't have any options. That's what the Chicago Housing Trust provides, that opportunity for home ownership. It's a great program, and I'd encourage people to to check it out through the Department of Housing, Chicago Housing Trust, and determine there are income limits as to how much you can make to qualify for the ownership in this.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you all need to come and drive by Harrison Courts. It's on Harrison and Francisco. You come around the corner on California. Don't pay attention to the lot on the corner. It may be vacant, but it's getting ready to be developed, right?
That's what I understand.
And the lot across the street from there is getting ready to be developed. So don't look at things for what they are. Look at them for what they're going to be, right? And this is going to be hot over here. You need to get in on the ground floor. So if somebody wants to buy over here, buy from you guys or see the place, what do they do?
Well, if you're looking at this now and you have your computer or your phone, first go to harrisonrow.com. I want you to be able to see the homes, the photos, and then connect with myself and my team, Annette Shelton, and we can get you in to see these. We have open houses every Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 2 p.m. And we're able to help you walk through the process of the Chicago Housing Trust to make sure that you're qualified. There are some qualifications, classes that's going to educate you on Chicago Housing Trust and how the program works, and also home buyer webinars, 8 hours, maybe a little bit intense, but that's going to be the best information that you could ever receive as a homeowner.
And then are there down payment incentives?
I really love the down payment. As Mike spoke before, they are giving an incentive of $5,000 towards your rate buy down or your closing cost. Because of the rates increasing, they have a 2-1 buy down that helps you to take that rate from a 7 to a 5.
So,
and we have lenders that can explain the process.
On average, I know we had some kids touring out here one day. Remember, I was talking to the kids, and I was trying to explain to them about, from Merlac House, I was trying to explain to them about how you could afford to buy a house and how you buy a house and all that. So you come down with a down payment first, right?
Yes.
So a down payment for $245,000 would be what, 10%? But you can bring it down to 5%?
No.
3%.
3%?
3%.
So anywhere else, it'd be 10%.
Absolutely.
So 3% of $245,000 is what?
$7,300.
$7,300. $7,300. So for $7,300 you can put down, then you can get the place. Then you get a mortgage of about for what, 230 something thousand.
Right.
A mortgage on 200 something, 30 something thousand with the interest rates as they are right now. Your monthly payment would be about what?
Depending on your credit, I'm going to say between $1,500 and $1,800.
$1,500 and $1,800.
Yes.
And you own a house.
And you own a home.
And it can be 4 of you all living here or more.
Definitely
So
more.
so that means everybody can pitch in and help pay the mortgage, but then at the same time you get equity. Even though it's under the land trust, you may not be able to get the full equity.
You get a
right?
percentage
but you
on
get
a fixed
percentage
formula
off. You still
so
get
that
some
it-
equity.
right.
If you resell it, you still make some money.
And you build that equity by paying down the mortgage, which a lot of people don't understand, versus rent, which is just lost income.
Right.
And most importantly, you protect your future, because the landlord can't, in an environment of the last few years, rents have gone up between 7 to
And we got
11%.
about 5 minutes, right? So 10 minutes, okay. So, but also at the same time, you build an equity. So this is the unique thing for you folks who never had houses before. You pay your mortgage, you pay your taxes, you pay your insurance, you pay all those things, your water bill, whatever. Then you get to get some tax incentives.
Tax
So
write-offs.
you get tax write-offs. So a lot of time you get a lot of money back from your income tax. And like when I was a kid and I bought my first building, I used my income tax to buy another building, right? Because you got the full amount back. So it's better than just paying rent.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is the greatest thing since apple pie.
Well, that's how it's marketed, but it is a real genuine benefit and a way to build wealth that often gets overlooked and is not availed. I'd like to say one other thing about the community that you talked about. We've reached out to Rush because of their commitment to Westside United and the admirable goal to cut the mortality gap between Streeterville and Garfield Park. They want to cut it in half from 16 years. It was astounding when I learned what that gap is, and it's because, in large part, because of the housing or lack of good housing, the amenities, the health care, all that. So Westside United is actively investing millions of dollars. You know, unfortunately, this neighborhood got overlooked or didn't get included in Invest Southwest. So,
Right.
so that institution is driving the investment, and we're proud to be participating through this community.
Fantastic. And they also encourage employment too.
Exactly.
They see unemployment as a health issue, right?
And it is.
So this is exciting. I want to thank you all for coming on the show. So to just put all this stuff together, you all have taken a lot that's been underdeveloped for over 50 years. You're putting something on it. You're bringing housing and new people to a community. You helping the rest of the economy in the neighborhood. You mentoring brothers. Now they becoming developers. They gonna get so rich they not even gonna know me anymore. You know.
Yeah, it'll take time.
And then you but also at the same time, you nurturing and incubating other developers, but also other contractors. You bringing up guys who just did a little handyman stuff, and you making them general contractors, and they become, everybody's growing. You got a landscaper. I done met several different contractors that you all are mentoring and coming up, and now they're starting to work on other projects and other developments. So
local community partners is
so
important.
this is a fantastic thing. But also what you're doing is, with you guys coming from the neighborhood, and you all, sharp and professional and everything, but everybody wasn't always professional and sharp, right? Right. And now you have become role models
Exactly.
for other people in the neighborhood to turn it around and step it up and rise to the occasions. And but at the same time, to learn that you got to put something in to get something out.
Exactly. You got to water that plant in order for it to grow.
That's right. So this is a great thing. I almost see this whole piece, Mike, as a spiritual thing, as a ministry, so to speak. You give people affordable properties, making folks developers, guys becoming contractors, and you motivating other people to turn it around. So I think that's great.
Thanks, Walter. And again, I'm not as spiritual as you are, but I do feel that what you've directed and the goals you set is a huge part of that, and we're proud to have participated.
Well, it takes two to tango. I couldn't do it without you. So I just want to thank you all for coming on to the show. Anything else you all want to say before we go off? And I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy Holidays.
Yes.
Same, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays.
I just want to say, if you're dreaming of being a homeowner, now your dream can come true, and it's affordable. So, yes.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Again, I'd like to thank Fang Construction, Structured Development, and
Annette Shelton.
Shelton, Mike Drew. I'd like to thank all you guys for coming on to the show. And I pray that other people follow what you're doing, Mike, and also what you guys are doing. I think this is fantastic. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching Network 27. This is a hidden gem in our community. You better get in where you can fit in, because it's happening over here on the west side. We're making it happen. Thank you. God bless, and have a good day.